Alright. Last but not least is the principles. In baseball, there are 7 principles, but in baseball, we only 6 of them are being applied. The principle 5 is not being applied into the baseball. Well, by pitching per se, it does apply with batting, but by pitching, principle number 5 is not being used. Principle 1 is, like I was saying before, especially with like my windup and everything, just your center of balance, your low center of gravity and everything, and be able to pitch and like being able to balance in order to get your pitch off, get everything off. That's the principle 1 being used. The second principle is using all of your joints in order to produce this pitch and be able to be thorough with it and be able to be very effective with it and all. Third principle is the uses of the joints by the largest and smallest group. So, like as we're saying, like as the approach and everything, the largest joint going is first going to be the hips rotating and moving. Secondly is the knee going and striding. So the hips being the largest joint. Secondly is the knee turning it off. Third is going to be the shoulder joint as you're about to begin the pitch and throw. And lastly is the elbow, the cocking of the elbow, and being able to throw the elbow. And last but not least is the wrist joint. It's being able to use the wrist and the wrist joint. Finally follow through and everything. So again, largest joint to smallest. Your hips, knees, shoulder, elbow, wrist. Fourth principle applied is the applied force that you're giving. The applied force that you're giving implies force that the velocity that you're giving will result in how fast the ball will be going and how hard what you're doing will be affected, how hard everything will be. So again, just the velocity of throwing the ball in yourself, acceleration and everything, throwing the ball and following through it all. Principle 5, like I said, is not being used. Principle 7 is the movement and momentum of your torque and your torque and everything. So the quickness of like your body moving and everything moving at once and being able to use your whole body structure and your like abs and everything will result in you being able to throw the ball faster, or you be able to perform your task at a high level, like at a good level. And lastly, in principle 7, which states that principle 7 states that as you're throwing the ball, as it means to throw the ball, as you're being to release the ball, it'll stay at a constant speed, it'll be at a constant like rate where you're going at. So it's kind of like the same thing as the velocity, except wherever you're throwing, it'll be at its constant speed or constant rate in the air. It's kind of like hard for baseball, especially when you're like, except throwing the fastball. When you're throwing a fastball, most fastballs are being going straight. That's what will be at constant speed and all. But for other pitches such as curveball or changeup and all, there's a lot of dips or sliders or everything. There's a lot of dips in the ball and everything. And because we're strictly just showing you the fastball principle, principle 7 does apply with the constant speed being in the air. Now that